Alright, what's up YouTube? And today, like I said in my last video, I said I'd review this beauty of a gun. It's the, I do believe this is Pre-Magna series because it uses its old type of system, but this is the WA 1911 Series 70s Colt. This is the US Army version. It's heavyweight plastic. This gun's pretty old. I got this out of a trade actually, and this gun kind of needs some love, but it still works perfectly fine. It comes with one WA magazine. This mag's a little leaking though. As you can see, it's leaked out its gas. I might need to get some new O-rings, but this gun is at least 9 years old, I would assume, because on how beat this gun is and how old WA is. It's really hard to get WA guns here in Canada. Reason being is because they're just so rare. It's like getting a TM gun here. In other parts of the world, you can probably get a WA a lot easier, maybe in Japan, because these are Japanese guns. This is heavyweight. If you look, actually, it has a cold metal feel to it when you touch it compared to the grips that don't. If you look here, it actually shines like metal because it's got nickel mixed into it. Nickel powder, I do believe, if I'm not wrong. It's got full trades. Just holding the gun, first thoughts, it feels really nice, but I mean, of course, it's still lacking the cold metal feel that most gas blowbacks have. You got your standard 1911 sights, nothing special. But yeah, it's a classic 1911. It's got all the working safeties, of course. You got the safety here. Fortunately, the beaver tail, it kind of needs a new leaf spring because it doesn't really work anymore, which makes sense because it's 10 years old, but it still works nonetheless. Push it in. Slide release is right there, but you know, it's a plastic gun, so I'm gonna power stroke it. It's power strokeable, but one problem I noticed is if it doesn't really lock back too much. It doesn't really lock back, which is until you know, pull up really hard, which is one thing that shouldn't be happening. It should be locking back every time. I mean, it does lock back most of the time, so I mean, it is a 10-year-old gun, so what can you expect? It does come with a brass headed barrel. Yeah, brass headed barrel right there. It's just painted over. I do believe this is a Pre-Magna series, so it's before their cheaper guns. It's got the nice imitation wood grips, but they're starting to wear away. This gun's got that really nice worn look to it, but I mean that's because the owner had this for a very long time. He was selling this for a very nice price of I do believe $140. This was at a swap meet. He gave FedEx holster and 2 mags, but the gun's just really nice overall. Feels nice, it shoots nice, it kicks hard, but the recoil spring, this is very light, which also makes sense because it's, you know, a plastic gun. But I mean, considering my TM, this is a stock spring, and this actually cycles faster, which is odd. But I mean, this thing's been running for 10 years and it still works. To take down 1911, if you don't know, just push out the slide release right there, notch, and the slide comes straight forward. That you can see your internals. Very simple design, nothing too complicated like you get in your KWAs. This is if you guys didn't know, before Tokyo Marui and like all those other brands like WeTech and KJ came out, WA was the way to go. It was the shit, pretty much. What everyone would want, because WA was just, it was everything. They usually make 1911s, but they also make the Breda series as well, but that's pretty much all I've seen, and they make high kappas and stuff. I've only done my research to an extent where I know they're a very old company, but I'm not sure if they make anything still. I do believe they do, but I'm not 100% sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But overall, it's got everything that it needs to be. It's also got the double cock feature as well, so you got the safety. If you look down here, it's got a fake firing pin in the BBU. I mean, the sights, the rear sight actually isn't molded part of the slide. It's actually a separate piece. It's because it's metal. What's nice about heavyweight plastic is it has that cold feeling that metal does, even when you feel it. Put this against your face or something. It feels like metal. It actually kind of looks like metal too when you look at it, but it sounds like it's plastic, right? It's heavyweight, which is nice. I like heavyweight because it feels more realistic. Of course, it doesn't have the legit cold feeling like a metal slide would, but I mean, it still feels nice. I don't have the original box. Unfortunately, the guy gave me a High Kappa box instead, so I'm not really gonna pull that out. But it's just kind of a cardboard box that says WA on it and all that. What's nice though is this gun has all the correct markings. I don't know if this is licensed or anything, but it all says the real thing. They do sell metal slide kits for this, but they're almost nearly too impossible to get nowadays because they're just so rare and everyone wants one. Is once they do come into stock, they go pretty fast. So the slide play is alright. I mean, it's nothing crazy to know, but barrel play isn't that much. Barrel's actually pretty locked. Barrel locking is very good on this. The plunger is pretty good. Recoil spring's very light in this though. I put in a stronger one, but I mean, I don't want this to break because it is a plastic gun that's heavyweight. So the more heavyweight you put it, the brittle it gets. Everything that needs to be metal though is metal, like the it's called the beaver tail safety is metal, camera's metal, the rear sight's metal, the slide stop's metal, the mag release is metal, and the detent. The detent pins are all metal as well. The trigger's metal, of course, and I'm just gonna call it the hammer. This hammer spring housing is also metal. It's all machined if you look at it. But yeah. There's really not much to go through this pistol because it's just 1911 and it's very simple, but these are the pre-Magna versions, so it's the same gas system Magna, but if you don't know what Magna means, they just kind of cheap out the externals a little bit, so it's kind of a sport line, if you will. It's just their type of sport line. You can fit High Kappa parts here because they're pretty much exactly the same, so hammers and stuff. Frames, of course, don't, but I mean, I do believe slides do, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know much about WA because they're a very rare brand in Canada. The most known brands are like WeTech, KGW, and Tokyo Marui, and there's like the 3 main brands, and then it's for ADGs, it's Aries and stuff. You don't get a lot of WA or Inokatsu or any of that. The only design Inokatsu gun I think that's here is the KGW M4. This is still made by KJ. Yeah, this gun's very nice quality. As you can see, it's been running for the past 10 years on green gas and propane. So I mean, there's just no way. Because I actually bought a KSC G17 not too long ago, and it failed on me on the second mag out of the box. And this has been running for 10 years, so of course it's saying something about the quality. Same with my TM. I mean, my TM, it's been working for despite the hammer rotor breaking. I don't really blame that. I was kind of non-stop shooting because it's full auto Glock, but I mean, I haven't shot it in a while since I don't really have gas either. But I mean, this thing has lasted me a while too. So these Japanese guns are impressing me. Also, another Japanese brand you might find in Canada is Maruzen. The only thing you can find is the CO2 Maruzen 5.7 though here, which isn't bad, but I mean, the design in here is pretty much without flaw. It's very simple. What's nice though is if you look down the mag well. So pretty much how this works is when you pull the trigger, the hammer springs back. So when the hammer actually strikes the firing pin, or not the firing pin, the valve knocker, the valve knocker actually comes back. So when you put a magazine in, it doesn't prematurely release gas like most guns do nowadays. Because let's say if you have like barely any gas in a mag on my TM Glock and you insert it, releases the rest of the gas. Not enough pressure to push against the spring. But yeah, other than that, I don't think I missed anything. And this gun's really nice replica, not gonna lie. It looks realistic. If I saw this in public, I don't think I'd buy this as a real gun though, because still the plastic, it can probably maybe from far sell as metal, but I mean, there's no way. The magazine, it's gun to the magazine actually, it uses the WA style. I don't know what that's called, but it uses the WA style. Valve's got full trades on this as well. Metal feed lips. The gasket's a little ripped, but I mean, I expect it's a real gun, right? But yeah, overall, it's just I'm impressed with this gun. Actually, 10 years old and it's still running. I mean, you don't find a lot of guns that do that, but in that, I don't think there's a lot left to say. So, if you got any comments or if you got any questions, just ask me. Comment, rate, subscribe. Thanks for watching.